Welcome to my kitchen again. We are about to start the stream as per usual, but first let me wait until that fires up. Oh, someone is already here. It's the Bacon Maker. Hey, Bacon Maker, welcome to my kitchen. There will be pizza. There will be. In fact, it's been a long week and I should be outside actually doing something, but as you can see it's dark and it's about to rain, and plus I still have yeast. That makes it sound like I've got a personal problem. No, I mean Fleischmann's yeast. That's not helping. Bread yeast. So we're gonna make pizza dough and we're gonna make barbecue pizza. So how you doing today? What's up? And what are you doing? Have you had a good day? We have a bowl to start prepping our dough. So I'm also looking to make sure that I'm getting information over there in the side panel, because if I'm not, I want to know about it, because my streams the last few weeks have been kind of wonky. So today we are working with a brand new router with a different security protocol, and it's on a direct line down to the main system, and it's sitting a couple of feet that way. So it should be much better this time around. You're doing long and boring and yeah, I saw that in Discord. I know that they've been putting you through the ringer, and they got you all that way out just to say come back in a month, huh? That actually sucks, man, but stick with it and it will get better, I hope.
Also, the Boston female dwarf wishes that you get feeling better soon, alright?
You do realize in your stream, you gave me access to that in your stream. I will be playing it at you every time I show up. You realize this, right? My audio isn't in sync.
Great.
Wait a minute. Let's see what audio it's using. Well, we'll figure that out later. How badly out of sync is it? Like, was that more than a second off, or no? You hope I do, yes. Audio's not in sync. Always something, isn't it? Well, let's get started. We need 4 cups of flour. So, let's get this going. About 1 second. Well, that's all right. We will pretend that I am a really badly dubbed movie. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Alright. And so there's 1 cup. I might only make half of this dough recipe just because I don't think I need the whole thing, especially since I'm making thin crust. So we're just going to half everything and hope for the best. So we'll start with 2 cups of flour. So have you finished Final Fantasy VII yet, or are you still playing it? And how are you enjoying it? Oh, almost forgot. Water. 1.5 cups of warm water, which means that we actually want 3/4 of a cup of warm water for this. For our yeast. And something to mix it in. Most of my stuff is in the dishwasher. Here we go. Coffee cup. Nothing like good, nice, yeasty coffee. Warm water. Kind of lost the oh, well that's too bad. Why? Just kind of couldn't get into it, or hit a spot you were sticking on and couldn't get past, or just weren't feeling it? Alrighty. Why am I not just mixing it in here? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we we have yeast packet, warm water. And we throw the yeast packet into the warm water. I didn't tear the yeast packet open enough. So I'm standing here shaking it like a White Castle salt packet, hoping for 5 grains to fall out. There we go. Now, they're all sitting on the top. We can't have that, so let's stir this up and let the little monsters come to life. There we go. Now we're going to stick this over here. See? Yeast. And let the magic happen for a few minutes, because they'll come to life. You're just not feeling it anymore, you guess? Huh. Well, that's interesting. Well, if you get back into it, it really is rewarding, especially there's a lot of storylines later into the game, and it's a lot of, it was a lot of fun for me, but, you know, your mileage may vary. We all like different things. I made poor Death Monkey play Athena for a while, and he did surprisingly good at it. He got to the end of the first round the first time he played, like in several minutes, which was great. He's good. But, you know, I love it, but, you know, no one else is gonna, and I understand that when I recommend things like that. But, you know, I like, basically what I'm saying is just because I like something doesn't mean that y'all are expected to. Little thing of sugar for the yeast to eat. I don't remember where my sugar is. Where the heck is my sugar? Ah, here we go. Yes. Small pinch of sugar. Just put it directly into the yeast so that they have something to eat. And last but not least, four tablespoons of olive oil, half in the bowl, half in the bread. I just bought olive oil. Where is it? There we go. So have you got any big plans for this evening? You gonna play, what was that game you were playing the other day, that online multiplayer thing with, you know, you guys were running around shooting each other. That looked like fun. Okay, so we need a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in this. We're just gonna eyeball it, because that's what we do. That's what we do around here. So let's get this over and show you guys how to ball up this yeast, and then after we set it aside to rise, I'm going to cut up some potatoes so we have something to do while the yeast rises, and then we'll prep the pizza after that. So, I wonder if we need a light on in here. No, that's terrible. So, bowl of yeasty goodness. And Ring of Elysium, that's it. The Snowboarding Battle Royale, that is exactly the one. That looks like a lot of fun. What is that, Twitch or PS4 or... What's that on? That smells good. Okay, now we're going to just stir this up until... And actually, let me move it over here so you guys can watch the consistency change. So... starts out as flour, and we're going to start stirring it. And as we do, it will slowly become dough, pizza dough. And as it does, we'll start kneading it with our hands. And when that time comes, my kitchen will become a grand and glorious mess. I think the time has come. Okay. So carefully, just start pushing it down, bringing it up, and folding it. And we might need a little more moisture in it. And if we do, I might suggest a little bit of water, because I don't know if I had quite enough.
olive oil? What do you guys think? Water or olive oil? I only need about a teaspoon to bring this all together. I think oil. Then again, that might make it have a little problem sticking, so water it is. There we go, and that makes all the difference. And we knead it really well to get the yeast all set through there. And then we'll just set it in there, and we've got to let it rise a little while. So while we do that, we're going to cover it with a hot, damp towel, and then we're going to work on our potatoes and then the pizza toppings. But first I'm going to check on you guys. It's on Steam and it's free! Sweet! Well, I need to get in there and start shooting people with you. That looked like a lot of fun. I remember the time when you guys were up behind that big iron girder on that pylon tower at the top of the hill, and those guys were taking pot shots at you. And I thought, man, that looks like a really well done shooter. But I don't typically do a whole lot of first or third person shooters, really. But that one actually had piqued my interest. Although I will say, and I said this in your chat, when I do play first person shooters, I tend to like ones like Unreal Tournament, Game of the Year Edition, you know, Doom, Quake. Things like that where you're running around in close quarters and like shooting people all the time, rather than ones where you have to wander around and sneak around and then occasionally shoot at people. I would like in the first 5 minutes to have shot 45 people and to have been shot like 10 times. But that sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, we're going to set this aside to rise, because it's going to need to. Oh, no. Don't broil, we want the timer. And then when that finishes, we'll make the pizza. But for now, let's get these potatoes going, because I want something to eat with my pizza. And who doesn't like potatoes? So I guess I should probably tie my hair back. And so, pardon me, y'all. We're going to get pretty and hygienic. There we go. All right, now, throw that away real quick. We have potatoes. Let's wash them real quick. Actually, they are pre-washed, so I need new glasses. Actually, what I need is new eyes. I have astigmatism, so like, if I came up and licked the lens here, that's what this eye sees like. It's wonderful. All right, knife, cutting board. And we're gonna slice us up some potatoes. I'm also gonna get this mouse away from the stop streaming button so we don't have an incident. By the way, if anyone is actually still in chat listening, if one of y'all could, hang on. I forgot to get pans down. If one of y'all could occasionally say something, if just like a little dot, so that I know my chat's working, because I've been real paranoid because my chat's stopped working. And the Bacon Maker, if you need to get my attention because my chat's not working, DM me or snap me a Snapchat, you know, nothing too obscene, but you know. I'll be right back. Wait. Pans! Yeah. And we're going to put the potatoes in the pan. So, our delicious little spuds and pour them all out, because that's what you do. And I like to quarter them, so they're tasty. I mean, I'm sure they're just as tasty if you don't quarter them, but you know what I mean. That's a pretty one. There we go. Do, 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 do. All right. So while I am doing this, our yeast is over there making our pizza dough rise, and that's going to be lovely. And in a minute here, I'm going to cook up the sausage for doing the barbecue pizza. Now, story time. I grew up in a town called Clarksville, Indiana, and we had a local pizza restaurant called Pizza King. And it was my favorite pizza restaurant. And for the longest time, my favorite pizza there was sausage and mushroom, and my second favorite was barbecue pizza. Now, those two have switched, in my estimation, although they're both very good. But tonight, we're going to try to mimic their barbecue pizza, because the nearest Pizza King is still in Indiana. You know, it's not the one I went to, but it's a lot closer. It's still an hour each way. So rather than spend an hour driving to get Pizza King, I thought I could spend an hour trying to entertain you guys and mimic Pizza King. So that's exactly what we're going to do as soon as we get all these potatoes cut up. Oh, bad spot in the potato. Cut that right out. Let me check that part. No, that one's fine, that one's fine. That one has a bad spot. See that little dark bit right there? You don't want those in there, they taste funky. So you cut those right on out, and you proceed to roast them without the bad spots. Okie dokie. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a nice big tray full of potatoes. We're going to spread those out good and far. And we're going to butter and herb them here in a second. Also, I'm going to check on my chat. Give me 3 seconds. I'll be right back. Count to 3. I want to test this front chat. Yes, okay. We're still going. Hey, my new setup is working fine. Syncing problems aside. So, what we need now is some butter for these potatoes. And I just happen to have bought a new box of butter. So, yay. And what we're going to do is mix up a nice slather of butter and other herbs and spices to stick on top of these things. And in order to do that, we'll start by getting some butter. Duh. And getting all the million little bits of scraggly paper off of it. There we go. Now, what we're going to dress these potatoes up with is, well, let's melt the butter first and hope it doesn't knock me offline. Every time I turn the microwave on, it plays merry havoc with the Wi-Fi.
18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Okay, that's enough. All right. Melted butter. Woo! We will have salt. And how do we want to dress these up? I'll tell you. We are going to add a little celery salt. Little coriander. And little sage. Black pepper. And then it comes out looking about like this because, you know, all the spices are floating in the butter, absorbing all the buttery goodness. Let me show you guys this here real quick. Spread your potatoes evenly across the pan. And what we're actually going to do, before even this, is, here we go, little dot of olive oil on the bottom of the pan, just to keep things from sticking. The butter is for the tops of the potatoes, and for flavor, this is more of an anti-stick measure. So, let's brush these little bad boys down with this herb and spice mixture. Look at that. And the butter helps all the herbs and spices stick to the potatoes. It's going to be delicious and tasty and wonderful. Of course, we got to separate those. Flat surfaces on these potatoes will want to stick together, so make sure you get them separated out beforehand. And scrape all the extra out. All right, that's enough. Okay, we're going to throw those into the oven, and then we'll start prepping our pizza ingredients. We're going to throw those in at about 385. We'll take this extra pan out so that when we need to move those to the bottom rack to accommodate the pizza, we can. Now, let's take a look at this. Oh, look, it's rising already. Wonderful. However, we need to warm this up. So we soak the towel in hot water. Moisten that up a bit. And there we go. Now the stove will get a little warm as the potatoes cook, and that'll kind of warm up the bowl and the rest of the stuff here, and then the yeast will really start to get active. But, you know, it's only been rising for about 10-15 minutes. So, you know, we got to give it time. And to that end, we're going to go ahead and start prepping our ingredients. Now, I told you that I was going to try to emulate Pizza King's barbecue pizza, and they have a very thin crust pizza with a sweet barbecue sauce instead of a tomato sauce, and then finely ground sausage on top. So, we're going to make the sausage. I don't know what sausage they use, so we're going to use Tennessee Pride. And we just
just need enough for pizza toppings. So we're going to take about that much. Yay! And the rest of it,
we'll stick in a Ziploc bag, and later I'll show you guys how to make chipped beef on toast. Well, I'll make chipped beef on toast. This is for shit on a shingle, which is like chipped beef on toast, but with sausage instead of chipped beef. Also, I got a bunch of air in there. We can't have that. There we go. Alrighty, let's cook us some sausage. There we go. There. Very exciting. I'm going to try and go ahead and get it separated into pieces because A, it'll cook faster, and B, the kind of pizza we're making has very fine crumbled toppings on it. So I'll just kind of go ahead and get a jump on that. Out. There we go. Let me wash my knife real quick. Come with me. Alrighty. I love the smell of palm olive, don't you? Well, wherever you guys happen to be, if you can get palm olive. I just sharpened this knife yesterday, so I'm much happier with it than I have been. Alrighty. Now, we don't want this... Well, hey, it's Lily Range. Welcome to my kitchen. How you doing this evening? We are making roast potato wedges and barbecue pizza. I'm cooking up the sausage for the pizza right now, and the crust is rising. So, actually, what I am doing now is making a bowl to drain the sausage in when it comes out of there. How are you doing this evening? What are you up to? And how was your day? There we go. Bowl with towel paper. How was your day, and anything fun or exciting happen? I'm about to wash this knife because I've got potato juice all over it. I sharpened both of my knives yesterday, so I am a happy camper. See, very nice, shiny, sparkly edge. Might have that on a little too high. There we go.
actually, I'm going to turn that way, way, way down because while we wait on it, there is one thing I need to do. I need to get some caraway going, and I need to grind it. So, wait, no, that's the coffee grinder. Do not put spices in your coffee grinder. Bad things will happen, I guarantee it. There we go. But this one I put hot peppers in, and as you can see, there's still a residue. So what we need to do is wash that out of there real, real good so that we don't mix our spices together. Hi, Lily. How's it going? How's your day been? You guys can hear me, right? Half a moment. Uh-oh. I'm trying to get this sausage really, really finely ground and crumbled. Anything new and exciting with you, Lily? Aw, you've got a cold and you're still at work. That's no good. Well, I hate to hear that, but I hope you get feeling better soon, and you will be home soon, so when you get there, get a good book, get a snack, get a nice cold drink, hot drink, whatever floats your boat, and take good care of yourself, okay? The thing exciting is the cold. That's unfortunate. Aww. Well, I am cleaning hot peppers out of a grinder. So, while I do that without lacerating any fingers, if I do that without lacerating any fingers, we'll call it a success. Sure if I should be using water in this or not, but we're gonna. Water in an electrical appliance. What could possibly go wrong? Right? The only thing exciting is the cold. Well, I hate that for you. I hope you get feeling better real soon. Interestingly enough, I'm real glad to see that my stream appears to be relatively stable tonight. Of course, now that I've opened my big mouth, it won't be. But I actually have a different setup that I'm playing with, and I think it's going to do okay. Yeah, if you have a cut in your finger and you're working with hot peppers, it kind of stings. Anyway, it's not really a cut, it's just a raw spot. I wouldn't be working with my hands with food if I had a wound or anything. That's a terrible idea. But you can sure feel those little hairline scrapes when you start working with hot peppers. But we've got it nice and clean. So what we're going to actually do is grind up some caraway seed, because we're going to dust the bottom of the crust with it to get the right flavor in this case. And so we have to be careful, because these are not made to be put a lot of. We just need, that should do it, a few. So this is actually probably more than we need, but away we go. Where'd the lid go? Ah, there it is. Well, Lily, I am really glad to see you here, and I hate that you don't feel good. So get home and take care of yourself, okay?
Now we shall grind the spice. Woo! Look at it go! Give it a shake. Smells like fresh rye bread. And that's really all we need right there. I want a little pinch for the sausage, but we're not done yet. We're going to put this in a bowl. What we need now is a mixture of cumin and fennel. So, I have fennel that's already ground, so I don't need to do that. So we're going to put a little of that in there, okay? And then I'm going to go grab some cumin. Here we go. And we are going to give it the same treatment. Wait a minute. That's already powdered too. Yes! My life is easy. All right. We're just going to shake that together. Put a little of that in the sausage, because that's what you do. And we're going to dust the crust with some of this. Okay. We're going to drain all of the grease off of that. And I've broken my cardinal rule. I've let this pan cool off without wiping it out. But that's okay. We'll make do. And we'll clean it out here before it gets too stuck in there. So give me half a second. Because we like a nice, good, clean pan that doesn't turn into a mess. There we go. Beautiful. All right, let's go hang this up, and then we'll check on our crust. All right, so let's see what our dough is doing. It's getting bigger. Huh, pretty cool. Let's give it some more warm water in the towel to give it some heat so that it rises even further. And while it does that, we'll check on our potatoes and focus on our cheese mixture. Also, we'll crumble the sausage a little further. Let's see what these taters are doing. Actually, let's dry our hands first and then see what our potatoes are doing, because I will tell you, if you get your oven mitts wet and then you reach into the oven, that heat transfers really well through that water, and so your oven mitts don't work anymore. All right, look at those potatoes. Give those little bad boys a shake and a stir. All right. Stick them back in to be potatoes. All right. Now, we'll put our grinder away because we don't need it anymore. And one other thing we do want in that mixture, real quick, is of course some onion powder and some salt. So what we want is onion salt, but
I don't have any onion salt. I have onion powder and salt, which is the same thing. Oh, my onion powder always sticks when it's humid. There we go. About that much is good. Put it in your mixture. Add a little salt on top of it. And we're going to sprinkle that down on the pan before we roll out our crust. It'll be tasty. Okay. So now comes the time that we've all been waiting for. It's time to sit here and do nothing. No, just kidding. We'll continue prepping because we need to. Now, we've got cheese for our pizzas. I'm not entirely sure what blend Pizza King uses, but that's as close as my guess is that we're going to get at the store, unless I wanted to make a trip to Jungle Jim's and hand select the cheeses and then cube them by hand and grate them and blah, 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 blah. And I'm not, if I were going to go to all that trouble, I would just drive to get one. That being said, this I'm hoping will be close with a minimal amount of effort. So, we also have our barbecue sauce, which we will be brushing on as a substitute for pizza sauce. I also have, and this might be a bad idea, if I can get to it, I also have an old stone, we're not going to do that. I have a stone pizza pan, but pulling it out, I haven't used it probably in a decade, and it's covered in dust and cat hair, and that sounds like way too much work, so regular pan it is. Oi! Alright. Now, to that end, we do have a nice regular pan here. Let's get it wiped down and ready to roll. There we go. All right. Now here's going to be the fun bit. Just take that spice mixture, and we're gonna spread it over the bottom of the pan here. And that's probably good. As far as this goes, we're draining the sausage, but I want to crumble it up a lot smaller than that when we finally do the pizza. Now that appears to be doing its thing, so we have pizza dough. And I'm sure it would probably rise more, except we're doing this thin crust, so I think it's time to go ahead and roll it out, don't you? In which case, we're going to want this. So come on over. Pizza dough! Yay! All right. It smells really, really good. I think it should probably be a little warmer to rise the way I wanted it to, but that being said, I don't think it's going to be too bad. Now, you guys will remember the last time I made pizza, I did not roll it out like this. Well, last time we were not making thin crust. This time we are. It might not work really well, but we're going to find out. Also, this is not much of a circle, as you can see, but that's okay. All right. Let's get it over here and plop it down. Leroy Jenkins. Alrighty. There we go. Now we'll just adjust its proportions while it's on fan. Yeah, we'll tear some from here and we'll just fill in the gaps over here. It'll be fine. It will be absolutely fine. So now we have our pizza. Now, for barbecue pizza, we're going to use a barbecue sauce. Back here so you guys can see it a little better. If you're wondering, Pizza King always used to use, what was it, Kraft Open Pit Barbecue, but they changed to Royal Foods a few years ago. But since the 1950s, they were using Kraft Open Pit. And then they said the flavor got different on them, and they didn't like it as well, so they changed. But I tell you, if you want an authentic experience, Kraft Open Pit or Royal Foods Barbecue will both be the way to go. I am currently using Heinz barbecue sauce, Kansas City, which is not authentic to the Pizza King taste, but it's what I had on hand. So we're going with that today. Need a little more around the edges. There we go. We want to make sure it's covered all the way up to and including the edges, because this is not going to be your typical pizza. Okay, there we go. Let's rinse off our brush real quick. Keep barbecue sauce from coagulating in it. There we go. Now, cheese. Queremos el queso. Fun fact about Pizza King, I believe they put the cheese down mostly before they put the toppings on. Okay. Now this is going to be the messy part, because we want to crumble this sausage up real fine. Those pieces are too big. But Pizza King just uses real finely crumbled toppings. And so we're going to follow suit. I think we cooked just exactly the perfect amount of sausage for this. It might be a little light on it, but we're close. All right, let me wash my hands real quick. And we'll put a little more cheese on. That is looking like a pretty fine pizza. Ow, a little too hot. Ow. Okie dokie. Now, a little more of this blend here, because this has some provolone in it. Get up to the edges, really, is what we need to do. Okay. That should probably do it. Now comes the boring part. Oh, our spice mixture. A little more of that, because I think that's going to be important. Okay, now like I said, here comes the boring part for you guys, because I stick this in the oven to cook. While it's in there, let's check on these potatoes. And we'll clean the kitchen and shoot the breeze, and we'll talk, and it'll be lots of fun. Okay, potatoes are looking good, but we need to just stick them right back where they came. Actually, let's scrape them up a bit and then stick them right back where they came from. We don't want them sticking to the bottom of the pan too much. I put too much oil in that, and I regret it. But that's okay, they're still going to be delicious. See how that one's starting to turn gold and brown right there? Wait, can you see that? That one right there. Now it's turning all nice and crispy on the edge. We want them all like that. Okay. So we'll leave that in for a few minutes, and while we wait for it, we are going to, we're going to eat a fistful of cheese is what we're going to do. Give me that. Very tasty. All right. So that being said, right now everything's in the oven, and this gets to be kind of the boring part for you guys. So if you've got any questions for me, want to ask me anything, want me to answer anything, I'm perfectly happy to. And if you don't, I'm just going to sit here and clean up the kitchen for a few minutes while we wait for that to come out. But I am also going to run back to the back to make sure my chat's working. So I'll be back in 3 seconds. Alrighty. It seems to be working fine, so alright. I've been paranoid about that lately. Actually, while we're waiting, let me show you guys the pizza we're trying to replicate. Barbecue pizza. Hold please. there's their ham. Well, there is no picture of their barbecue pizza. Why is there no picture of their barbecue pizza? That is a travesty. This is close enough. You can't see that. Hang on. View image. There we go. That's what we're trying to replicate right there.
And we're getting close, and it's going to be delicious.
So, what do you guys think? Sound tasty? Let's wash our rolling pin real quick while we're at it. Let me grab my towel from over here. That's starting to smell really, really good. If you have a French rolling pin, especially an unfinished wood one like this or a lightly finished one, you don't want to get a lot of scratches or nicks in it because then it's not as effective. So you want to keep the surface finish nice. So I tend to gently just wash the flour and dough off with my hands and my thumbs in order to keep it nice and to keep the finish fresh. And if I do need to scrape on it, I'll use a soft plastic scraping tool so as not to gouge or dent it. If you take good care of a rolling pin like this, it'll last you a long time and it'll be an asset to your kitchen. This particular one I got myself a while back, and it's very nice. It is in fact a Vic Firth, who was apparently a drummer and decided that rolling pins were not that different than making drumsticks. So there you have it. Just wipe all that off. Let's check and see what we've got going here.
Okay, so it's starting to look like a pizza. I may want to swap their positions so that the bottom of that thin crust does not get done too fast, come to think of it. So let's do that real quick. Now, there we go. Let's let all the heat out of the oven. I cannot tell you how good that smells when I open that up. Alrighty. Here's a fun trick for you. Hold your cutting board here. Wipe everything onto it. Congratulations, you have just cleaned your counter, and I'll be right back. Well, I mean, you know, you haven't cleaned your counter, you've cleared it of debris. In order to clean it, you want actual cleanser. This is exactly what you guys wanted to do tonight, was to come and watch someone clean their kitchen while the food cooks. It's like, hey, I've got a great idea. I don't want to clean my house. I'll watch someone else clean their house and feel like I've accomplished something. Oh, me. In a minute, when this pizza comes out, I'm going to get on Discord and at the Bacon Maker so that he can come back and see the gloriousness that is this barbecue pizza. I should be keeping an eye on it so that it doesn't burn, but look at this.
Nice, glossy, clean counter.
Anyway. Alright, keeping an eye on our pizza. Oh my, that's starting to look good. A few more minutes on that, guys, and we are gonna have pizza, and it's gonna be good. And I still have barbecue sauce left. And apparently it does not expire until June 14th of 2019, so we can have barbecue pizza well into the future. In the meantime, what do I want? Do we want to make a cup of coffee? Do we want to get Powerade, a glass of water? What sounds good? Let's do water for now because I only have one Powerade left and I want it for dinner. I also have soy milk, which is tasty but doesn't really quench your thirst in the way that you would hope that it would. And certainly not like regular milk does. There we go. Well, cheers everyone. We're waiting for the pizza to come out. And I am no longer thirsty. Yeah, that's going to be ready in about 2 minutes or less. So, let's get ready to cut this bad boy up. Y'all are going to want a good view when this thing comes out. Yeah, that looks marvelous. About 1 more minute. Pizza cutter. You guys need to be over here so you can see all the happenings. Yep, it's ready. Let's move these potatoes up to the top rack again. Give them a shake. Let's make sure that that crust is done real quick. Almost. Let's throw that back in for another 2 minutes, tops. Maybe 1 minute. The thing that you have to remember about trying to emulate a pizza oven is that most of the time when they throw the pizza into the oven, the floor of it is already hot. So, I probably should have left that on the bottom rack. However, I think it's going to come out really good. Anyway, so we're about to find out. Give it another 30 seconds. 30 seconds and we're going to cut up our pizza. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
All right. Pizza time. Would you look at that? Let's cut this bad boy up. Pizza King pizza, for reasons that I cannot explain or describe, is always cut into squares. It's the way that it's always been, it's the way that it always shall be. Now that said, there we have our pizza. Yes! And we're going to wait for it to cool, and then we're going to eat it. No! Hey, Kimmy, how's it going? I have made barbecue pizza. It looks delicious. I hope the crust is done. But yes, I have just made barbecue pizza, and getting it off of the pan is going to be the interesting bit. How are you? How was your stream? How was your day? Are you doing all right? Why, thank you. I think it looks delicious myself. We're going to try and get it off the pan without incident. And I want to make sure that the crust is done. So, because this is my first attempt at this particular style of pizza, and I'm hoping that it worked out correctly. So what I'm going to do is get the biggest, thickest piece of crust, and try not to scald myself with it. If we need to throw it back in for a few minutes, we will while I chat. Let's see. What is this style? Been on Struggle Bus with SC2. Variety. Well, good. I'm glad the variety part of the streams is going well. This is supposed to mimic Pizza King Pizza from Indiana, where I grew up. So if you Google Pizza King Pizza Indiana, this is an attempt to mimic their barbecue pizza. Actually, that's pretty doggone close. All right. What I do need to do, however, is to throw it back in for about a half a second so that the crust gets a little crispier. I don't think it will suffer for it. So we're going to throw it back in for 2 minutes while we look at these beautiful potatoes that I also made. That's the stuff right there. Yes, potato wedges, exactly. I love potato wedges, and what I got was Petite Gold small potatoes. They're really tasty, and when you get them good and browned up, what I like, and let me find one. They're not quite ready yet. I like for the sides to be all good and crispy and brown like that. Only more so than that one is. So we're going to throw these back in for about 3 minutes and let them keep going so that I have some potatoes. And we're giving the pizza 1 more minute as well. Okay, so what went into the pizza? The crust was half of this recipe. This recipe called for 4 cups flour, 1/4 to 1/2 of a thing of yeast, in a 1.5 cups of warm water, a 1/4 to 1 packet of yeast in a 1/2 cup of water, 4 tablespoons olive oil, half of it to oil the bowl, half of it to go in the bread, 2 tablespoons of salt, and a tablespoon of sugar to feed the yeast. I go light on the sugar because I don't like things sweet. You mix it together, you let the dough rise, and what I did is I sprinkled the pan as I rolled out the dough
with a mixture of powdered cumin, powdered caraway, and powdered fennel seed, a little bit of onion powder, and some salt so that the bottom of the crust is flavored. The pizza topping itself is a very light brushing of barbecue sauce, very, very, very finely crumbled sausage, and a mixture of Italian pizza cheeses. And we need to get it out of there before it burns. And there it is. All right. The sugar feeds the yeast so that it grows a little better. Plus, this is America. Every recipe on the planet calls for sugar, so I try to scale it back when I can. But yeah, here is the recipe if anyone wants a screen cap. I used half of that for this pizza, and last time I made the whole amount, I was able to make a whole pizza and a calzone out of it. So, seasoning on the wedges. The wedges seasoning is salt, black pepper, coriander, sage, and what else did I put on there? Celery salt. Celery salt went on that. So celery, and I mixed it all up in a butter, melted butter mixture, and I brushed it on top of the wedges. Now, I oiled the bottom of the pans with olive oil so that the wedges didn't stick, but I used a little too much, and I like going a little lighter when I'm roasting it just so they crisp a little better, but I have to say it's worked well. So, really, I don't think I put too much in. I just felt like I might have. Celery salt because I like the flavor of it. It tastes like celery seed and salt. But it does give it a nice flavor. You know that restaurant salt mix, that seasoned salt that you get on your fries at places? One of the ingredients in that is actually celery salt, and that's what gives it that herby is the wrong flavor. It's that spicy, but not like hot spicy sort of. That taste that's in restaurant fry mixtures, that's probably celery salt. And that's why your restaurant fries taste different than the ones you make at home, because you remember the paprika, you remember the garlic, you remember the onion, you remember the salt, you remember the pepper, but no one thinks about the celery seed, and that's probably one of the ingredients. It is made of celery seed. It is, in fact, ingredients in this one is salt and celery seed. And it smells so good. So if you only have ground celery seed, you can put salt and celery seed on it, and you'll have celery salt. That's what I did with the crust here. I wanted onion salt, but I had onion powder, so onion powder plus salt equals onion salt, But that being said, my, that looks gorgeous, doesn't it? I am very pleased with this. So, we're going to set that aside, however, and turn the oven off, because what we also have is some delicious, potato wedges. And those, if I say so myself, are looking delightful. I could even leave them in a few more minutes. I'll leave them in while the oven cools down and while we plate up this pizza. Now, interestingly enough, with Pizza King Pizza, and if you guys haven't Googled it yet, which I'm sure you probably will at some point, you know that they cut it in a square pattern, even though it's a round pizza. So there's always like middle pieces and edge pieces, but the most coveted piece of all the pieces, the one that everyone wants one of, is the crispy, crunchy little corner piece. This is always the best piece. And so, we're going to find out how this came out.
when it's not the same flavor as Pizza King pizza, but I used a completely different barbecue sauce. However, it's enough to give someone the idea, and that is very, very acceptable. I'm happy with my dinner tonight. It's battery-powered Specs! Hey, it's Aaron and Jess! How you doing? Also, Kimmy just said something else, and I'm going to read it in a half a second. Welcome to my kitchen. How you guys doing tonight? I'm making potato wedges and barbecue pizza. Here is the barbecue pizza. Let me show you the big one here real quick, and then I'll answer everyone's questions and read properly what you all have said. But, Shazam! Pizza! Let's see. You like to cook and bake because of the heat? Yes, I love to cook and bake because of the heat, because it keeps my kitchen and my house warm. It's great. You know, winter, summer, I'm happy because it's 90 degrees in here. Like, you know, wintertime, I won't, you know, I will find some reason to keep like a turkey in the oven for like 19 hours because it'll be nice and warm in here, and the excuse is that I'm cooking, so it's energy efficient. But yes, I like it when it's warm. It is pretty good. Oh, thank you for the host. I appreciate that. Why did my alert not go off? Thank you for the host. I really do appreciate that. Hi, everybody. So, battery-powered Specs. Aaron, Jess, how was your stream? What were you streaming? Are you still doing Pokemon? Everybody, by the way, go and follow Spectrals and Sprinkles. Go and follow battery-powered Specs. They are all great streamers. Battery-powered Specs is a brother and sister duo. And Kimmy, Spectrals and Sprinkles, is also an entertaining streamer and just amazing to watch and a lot of fun. And much, much, much better at Heroes of the Storm than I am. So, that said, let's check on these potatoes real quick. Oh, wait, who else is it? No alert. Well, since there was no alert, I will do the alert for you. Spectrals and Sprinkles is now hosting you! So, I hope that makes up for it. Okami, yes, that is such a cool game, and the art style in it is really, really neat. Let's check on these potatoes. Yes, that's what I wanted to see. Alright, let me turn my... My knob broke, so the little pointer is pointed the wrong way. So I had to figure out when my fan's off. This is exactly what these should look like. They should be all nice, and see how the skin has a nice ripply, puckery texture, and it's starting to get crispy on one side? Well, that's what you want, and then one side should be lovely and brown and toasty and crispy, and the other side should be golden. Let me show you over here on the good camera. All right. Nice, wonderful, crunchy, crispy, yet soft, chewy skins. You want one side to be brown and crispy and delightful, and you want the other side to be golden and crisp and fluffy. Yeah, so that's the special alert notification. We're gonna try not to do that too often. All right, so let's plate this stuff up and have us some dinner. Okay, we've already got a plate. We've got a spatula. So all we need is some potatoes. There we go. And I'm not sure how hot this is, so let's grab a mitt. There we go. That looks almost exactly like Pizza King pizza. The edge pieces kind of are sticking a little bit because the cheese falls off of them and welds them to the pan. But the pizza itself is just absolutely fine. Oh, yes. I could not be any more thrilled with the outcome of this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look what we have here. We have seasoned potato wedges, crispy, crunchy, and wonderful. We have pseudo Pizza King style pizza, barbecue no less, with a little fine crumbled sausage. And it's ready to eat. I'm happy. I am stoked about this. You guys just don't know. Pizza King Pizza, I grew up on it. It was my childhood. See, this location is closed down now, but they used to have a Pizza King location in Clarksville, Indiana on Eastern Boulevard. And it was the neatest store. You would walk in and there were like 2 steps down into this area. And on the right there would be a couple of video games like Mrs. Pac-Man. And I think they had Mappy Land. And then next to that was a pinball machine, and you'd play that, and you'd walk up to this like brick arch, and the people standing behind it would be like this tall because there was a step down into the kitchen. So like where you gave your order, you know, you were looking down into the kitchen, so they'd be down here like this. Oh yeah, I'll take your order, and then you'd be up here, and then you would walk down the same 2 steps into the dining room. And it was like, you know, had a big, you know, plate glass windows on all the side, but it was cozy. You know, there was this brick arch that went down into the kitchen where you could see the pizza oven, and it was such a neat building. And I think it's some sort of florist or something now, but when I was a kid, I would love to go to Pizza King, and we would get pizza there, and it was tasty. And this, I have to say, it looks pretty similar, and it tastes pretty similar. So let's see. Can you hear? That looks amazing, and you need it. This needs to be. Yes. Well, Kimmy, you know, I tell everyone, if you're around, I mean, if you're up for a road trip to Cincinnati, you can always stop by and pick up some of whatever it is I'm cooking on stream. The problem is usually by the time you come and get what you want, it's long gone. But if you're ever in Cincinnati, I will cook for you, and I will make whatever you want. That goes for all of you. Well, that goes for all of you over, like, you know, 18 or 20, and, you know, nothing weird or creepy. I don't want 14-year-olds showing up at my house, but you get the idea. That being said, let's try these potato wedges. Oh, those are hot. This is a bad idea. Oh. Yeah. Potato wedges came out good, y'all. But yeah, if you want to make it, instructions are in the VOD. But yeah, I have no problem giving out recipes to anyone. If you guys need written recipes for anything, instructions, advice on how to make it, I'm thrilled. But I tell you, if you were going to make a road trip for pizza, rather than come here and have me make an imitation of it, which is really good, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to make a road trip for this specifically, go to Indiana, find a Pizza King, get the real deal, tell them a barbecue pizza, and tell them no onions on it. They've started putting onions on it, and they'll tell you that they've always put onions on it. That is true if by always you mean from the late 1990s, but from the time they started in the 1950s all the way up until the 1990s, they never put onions on it, and they will tell you that they always put onions on it, and that is a lie. So tell them you want the barbecue pizza without onions, and they're also offering it with chicken now, so specify the sausage, because that's the original. Yes, exactly. If what you want is gone, I'll just make more stuff that you like. So, there you go. I have to eat this just for a moment, so pardon me for a half a second. That is good pizza.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have shown you about all that I can for making food for the evening, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I have really appreciated all of y'all coming by. Aaron and Jess, the ex-bacon maker, was here earlier. Go follow him too. Follow Spectrals and Sprinkles, who is Kimmy. Lily Rains, if you're still watching, thank you for coming by. Thank you all for coming by. I appreciate each and every single one of you. You're awesome. And let's find someone to throw the host over to. Who is streaming right now? Who is Tomo? Tomo is streaming right now. Tomo is a subscriber, and Tomo is awesome. One of the most generous people on the internet. So we are going to throw the stream over to iReal Tomo. And again, go enjoy his stream. Go support him. And thank you guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next time I cook or play video games. Take care. Bye. It's sort of like the original. It's